All right, let's talk about some of the winners and losers that are finding it difficult to get their relevance right and their customer base satisfied with their product offering. There's also issues around store footprints and how that is managed so that businesses and retailers in particular actually have the right mix of old stores, online, and the offerings that work. One of the biggest winners, obviously, rolling around at the moment is Kmart, particularly its Anko brand. Anybody like me who has children that are constantly growing and wants to buy fashion for them or other bits and pieces, shoes, all the way across to sheets and whatever else. Anko has been really successful and is the highlight of how if you find the right niche and the right quality and the right price, you will build a very strong business that people will identify, even if it is regarded as a sort of cheaper home brand sort of style thing. If you make it well at a good, reasonable price, people will recognize that and they will be loyal to it and they will look for it as a comparable to other more expensive brands. And it has been the most successful thing inside the Kmart business for a long time. If you look at the other side on a loser, Big W is really struggling to stay relevant and compete with the likes of Kmart because their offering is seems a bit stale and needs to be updated again. It is very large store format, which has a lot of offerings, but is it all relevant? And are people willing to saunter through a large store these days to be able to find things, or would they rather do things online and get it delivered? So if you look at the comparables, it's all about that right brand and the precision of that Anko delivery, which Kmart are now and effectively outsourcing into other brands and sending overseas because people can see how reliable it is. It's a volume play, but it's also consistent and people are attracted to it. The other parts of the market that seem to be doing well are electrical and smaller appliances. So JB Hi-Fi, Harvey Norman said they've had a good start to the year. All of those type of players, the good guys, seem to be having strong sales periods because people are spending that money. They're getting more comfortable that the income is sort of going up, interest rates are coming down. They have more capacity to be able to buy those things, and also indicative of the fact that money is being spent to stay at home and have a great time at home rather than going out into hospitality, which is finding it really difficult to attract consistent turnover. And other parts of retail, though, are struggling. Fast fashion is becoming something of the 80s and 90s. So a lot of those, particularly for younger girls, alley fashion, obviously there are a few in the US which are even just closing down, like Forever 21 and things like that, are moving away from a store footprint because those models are built on people just wandering past and buying bits and pieces and whatever else. And there's not as much of that going through malls and shopping centres these days. So they're finding it a challenge to be able to stay relevant in that and how they get their delivery to their customer base and build up their loyalty from those people. So who are probably more loyal to online shopping and are willing to look at things online and take the punt on trying them on rather than actually seeing it, touching it, feeling it that way. So each of those parties have different customer bases, and how they deliver them is the important thing for them, as well as what capacity and availability there is across each of their product lines. So some people are getting those right, and that's giving them a good performance. Other people are struggling with it, and they're also having to restructure how they deliver and give their customer experience. So places like Country Road are really struggling to maintain a current position against challenges from all the overseas brands who offer similar but obviously more attractive things to the market at the moment, and how they continue to position themselves. That's going to be something difficult they're going to have to turn around. I mean, it's another monster loss this year compared to on top of a loss last year. Obviously, there are a lot of other brands that are going through similar issues where they're closing and limiting store footprints and transitioning more to an online presence to be able to maintain their margin and trim down costs. On top of those issues with these winners and losers is trying to maintain staffing levels, keeping the right staff in there to be able to give a customer experience that people want, and also understanding of products and things like that. Obviously, Good Guys and JB Hi-Fi have to have people in there who understand the products and can sell those products to people. That is a challenge that they seem to be getting right at the moment. And then on top of all of these other issues around winners, losers, and transition, secondhand is becoming popular still and growing because people do like to make sure that things are being recycled. And they also like the value aspect of that, particularly as particularly as we get the fire trucks come past. Um, Particularly as in this marketplace, if you are paying for a premium product, it will be expensive. But if you can use it and then pass it on, somebody will still pay a reasonable amount, and you can factor into that into your buying model that you will recover some of your expenditure on that basis, particularly where you've got larger runs of premium goods, let's call them handbags, shoes, and alike, where it may well be an option to share them. Co-ownership might be something that emerges on top of that. The overall thing with the winners and losers is the winners really seem to understand their product offering and they really know how to get to their customer, and their customer is responding on that basis. Whereas the losers seem to be struggling to get that nexus right with their customer to how they're actually going to buy and get wallets and purses open to be able to purchase things. And it's really clear that they need to be better at understanding what their customers want, how they can be better than their competitors, and then making sure that they are consistent with that offering to be able to lock down their customers. Otherwise, people's head will get turned and they will go to alternatives. And that could be the end of a few brands as it again rolls down to loss of relevance, and people are very finicky around some of these things. If a business and a brand cannot maintain its relevance, it inevitably will have to be sold or die.